go. Hi, welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. I'm Clay, and I'm here to show you an odd couple of odd couples released recently for Transformers Earthrise. Let's get into it. Yeah, you like that? An odd couple of odd couples. I just came up with that, so there we go. So, let's go ahead and take a look at our customers for today. We've got Transformers Earthrise, Blastmasters, Fuzer, and Autobot Blastmaster. Wait, they're Battle Masters. So these are Battle Masters, Fuzer and Autobot Blastmaster, not Blastmasters, Fuzer, and Autobot Battlemaster. You know what? There's just too many words there, and who's going to remember that? I guess somebody will, but not me. We also have the Decepticon clones, and these guys may be new on the store shelves, but they are actually slight repaints of toys that were created back in... not Power of the Primes, it was Titans Returns. We did have these figures in Titans Returns, and you didn't know it because you didn't see them. And I know this because I don't think many people did. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. Let's go ahead and start out with our Decepticon clones here, because we've got a very interesting story that's going on here with these guys. See, like I said, these are both repaints of characters that came out in the I can never remember the word Titan Returns. I am so sorry, but Titans Returns didn't happen. I know you think it happened, but it didn't. There was Combiner Wars, and then there was Power of the Primes, and then in between there was just a whoop. So yeah, just Titan Return. Titan Returns, Titans Return. I don't know how many Titans actually came back during that line. I think we only got one, so I'd say that's a misnomer. We got one Titan. Actually, I think we got two. I think that we got... didn't we get Fortress Maximus and Trypticon during that line? So that is two. That is two. I can't say that. So, this is Titan Returns Wingspan. This is the original one that you didn't find in stores because he was only available in a 2-pack with Cloudraker, the Autobot clone that turned into a jet, in Walgreens. Exclusive to Walgreens. So if you are not shopping at Walgreens, you didn't see this guy. Let's go over to the other camera just so that you can take a look. And he's not bad. You know, we got a nice looking bird mode. It looks okay from the front. It looks great from the top. And then from the bottom, it looks an awful lot like a robot with his legs sprawled out. But nonetheless, pretty good bird mode. And, oh, Kyoji is here. Holy crap. We've got Kyoji and Jet 5033, or wait, JST 5033. Okay, that's going to be a hard one to say fast, but let me toast both of you. Thank you for coming to Retrobot on a Monday evening. It's good to see you both. And thank you for the compliments on the shirt. This is a Monica shirt. She picks out most of my clothing because I'm a guy and don't pay attention to my clothing. So, thank you so much. Going back to Wingspan here, he is not a bad guy. He's got a pretty simple transform with the wings folding in, the legs pulling out, putting them together right in the middle, twisting them forward, and then you can pull the shoulders back to the side, twist the arms, and then we flip down the bird head and rotate the head. And there you have Wingspan. And you can see this little emblem on his chest, which sort of looks like a rub sign, but it's not a rub sign. I believe that the original Decepticon clones from Generation 1 actually were rub signs, and so what they've done here is they've just kind of made it look like that, but it is not a rub sign. It's just a paint deco. So that is Wingspan from just a few years ago with Titan's Return, and we're going to set him over here. Now let's take a look at the new Decepticon clones, and they look nice. The Earthrise packaging is very, very nice. They've gone with something, and I think that you've heard me comment on this before. The packaging is obviously made for a little bit of a more mature audience. It's very detailed. The artwork is beautiful. I really like the fonts that they use. The use of typography is very well done in this line, and they're always mixing in ancient Cybertronian. And one of these days, I'm going to get some kind of translator that probably just says Decepticon Pounce, and that probably just says Wingspan. But isn't it cool that they put it there? Also, this is something that I haven't noticed before. It says Cybertronian villains. That is interesting to me because normally it just says Decepticons or Autobots, even heroic Autobots and evil Decepticons, in case you're wondering. Of course, we've got our tech spec decoder, and if we put it over stuff, it reveals absolutely nothing. But we've got it in case we need it. So the bottom has some tiny legal mumbo jumbo, nothing really important there. We've got the normal Earthrise poster image on the side, which is a beautiful image, but very tiny on this package. On this side, we've got some artwork of the Ark, the Autobot spaceship, crashed into the side of what is historically Mount St. Hilary. I don't know if that's still the way that that the mythos goes, but I know that in Generation 1, it was Mount St. Hilary in Oregon, and you know, presumably maybe it still is. Who knows? So going to the back, this is where you get most of your good product shots, and we see Wingspan in his robot mode, and then the conversion to a bird, and then we see Decepticon Pounce in his robot mode, and he turns into, I believe that's a wolf. It looks like a wolf. Now, of course, the whole gimmick with these characters is that their robot modes are the same, but their alt modes are very different. So it's sort of like having a triple changer, or having two identical triple changers. I'm going to try this again. And unfortunately, this is a live stream, so I can't edit out that flubbery that I just exposed you to. But we're going to try this again. So the concept with these guys is that their robot modes are the same, while their alt modes are very, very different. It would be sort of like buying two triple changers and then gluing together the parts for any distinctive alt mode on each one so that each of them only turned into one thing. That's what they've got here. So, oh, Nathan Fillion is here! Oh, wow, okay, a toast to Nathan Fillion. Thank you for showing up, Nathan. And Nathan Fillion says, unbox that thing, and you know what? He's right. Let's unbox this thing. So I've already cut away the tape to make this process a little bit easier. So we're going to open the side flap and open the back. And there are no top and bottom tabs. That's new. And then we've got our little sleeve here. we can pull that back, and we're just going to pull out the tray, and we will set this aside carefully.
Blah 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 blah.
You know, I'm just going to say that that is not at all what I sound like. And we've got these two guys, so let's go ahead and free them from their bonds with a pair of manly pink scissors. Very manly. In Victorian times, pink was considered a very masculine color. And being heavy was considered Rubenesque. And what? Oh, holy crap! Maddie is here! Hey, Maddie! Woo! Welcome, Maddie! That toast is for you. So, this is not alcoholic. This is just green tea. It's a work night. And there we go. Oh, wow. I guess he's coming out first. So, here we go. Actually, no, he's not coming out first because I want to pull out Wingspan. This is the new Wingspan. And let's go to the other camera. So here we have new Wingspan, and you can see that he is really, really, really similar to old Wingspan. I think that the paint is nicer, though. We've got, so in comparison to the old one, the new one, they don't try to make the emblem look like a rub symbol, and I like that better. I appreciate the homage in the earlier version, but honestly, if you're not going to put a rub sticker there, then don't fake me out about it. Just ignore it. Also, he's got this nice bright purple here on his wings instead of this magenta, which I think is sharp, and it's much more a Decepticon purple. This reminds me a lot of the magenta used on Ape Face. He had the same off magenta that seemed out of character for him, but there it was. So this one, we have him. Also, he has silver on his face. And I know it's hard to tell from the camera, but it really does look a lot better. Whereas here, he was just, plain molded white plastic. And they did detail the eyes, but that was the only part. Go around to the back, and there's not a whole lot different. You can see that the plastic pieces that make up the shoulder joints are molded out of a different color plastic, and that is unusual. That is very odd, because in manufacturing, plastics that are one color or another come from a different sprue, and so you don't often expect them to change those colors when they're repainting a toy. But my guess is that these hips and well, no, because these hips are white. They're made of the white plastic, and then you've got this dark plastic here. In this version, we've got both of these being this turquoise color, and they aren't even from the same sprue. So that's actually more repainting than I would have expected for these guys. The newer one does not have the paint deco on the front of the legs. You see how the Titan Returns version has the white with yellow. This just has a little bit of white on the kneecap and on the foot, and nothing in between. So there are some differences, some slight cosmetic differences. Both of them are sporting a Decepticon logo right on their codpiece, so that in times of romance, you know where their loyalties lie. That's a little bit of a pun, because, they lie anyway. So let's go ahead and transform Wingspan. And once again, the transform on this guy is not complicated. We're going to rotate the head. We're going to pull the bird beak up from the back. We've got the arms here. We can rotate these out and then twist the shoulders. And now we've got the legs. We can turn the legs sideways like this and turn the legs sideways like this. Pull out the wingtips. Pull the legs out, and then we're going to pull harder to split the hips, and then we're going to mate the wings with these tabs that are in the back here. Maybe. There we go. Oh, I had it, and then I lost it. So there we go. I have to say that these light blue pieces, they do not mesh nearly as nicely with the wings as the other. They stand out. Now, they do serve to kind of highlight the wing, and that purple really, really pops. I like that purple. It looks really, really nice. We've got his bird mode here. I'm surprised in this design that the bird feet are not molded in with the fists. Yeah, they're on these pins, but they don't actually pivot much at all. You get a little tiny bit of articulation there, but not much. And then you've got the robot fists that are just hanging out here. I would have expected that to integrate into the transform somewhere so that when you expose the bird feet, the fists were hidden and vice versa. But they didn't do that. My criticism of this design, and it's harder to see on camera, but you can especially see it in the front, is that from here and here, boy, those legs look a lot like robot legs. They do have wings from the top, and as long as you're not looking at it from the front, it's fine, but boy, in the front, it really does just scream robot legs with wingtips. And I feel like because the hinge is here, they could have engineered it so that more percentage of the leg made up the outer wingtip. You know, maybe even done something where it was at a little bit of an angle so that you have the leg at full width here, and then it tapers down and gets thinner as it gets down, and then you have the other half, which would continue at that thickness and then get even thinner. I think we would have gotten a nicer wing effect and had a more convincing bird transform. Also, the head doesn't move. It can look up, but it cannot look down, which means that if you try to have the bird perch, it's going to be kind of staring upwards. You can kind of balance it so that it's not staring completely straight up, but also you can't have it face forward. There's not a whole lot of articulation in the wings. Because of the nature of the transform, you can have the wings go up. You can get them to kind of flap, which is cool. You've got a joint in this tail that doesn't actually do anything in the transform. It doesn't fold up in robot mode. It just stays hanging down. So this is really just a point of articulation, and that's kind of a cool thing. So we've got a little articulation there. The wingtips for the transform can go up, but like if you wanted to have the bird in a rest position, you kind of have to kind of put his legs down and then fold his legs up, or fold the wings tips up, and then maybe do something like that. And Kyoji just said, chunky wings remind me of Gen 1 Blitzwing. And yes, that's actually a very good point, Kyoji. Blitzwing had very chunky wings because when Blitzwing wasn't a jet, he was a tank. That's opposite extremes. So, yeah, we've got Wingspan here. Not a bad guy. It's probably not going to break your heart if you miss him in your collection, but he's kind of a neat... He's a good, almost generic-looking Decepticon. He's a great army builder character. I don't know that he's ever really had a whole lot of spotlight of his own. So we're going to set Wingspan aside here, and we're going to look at Decepticon Pounce for trademark reasons. He is Decepticon Pounce instead of being just Pounce. And can I get my camera to focus in on him? No, I cannot. Oh, there we go. There we go. So, once again, nice colors. Of course, his robot mode looks exactly like Wingspan, except that he's got what appears to be a Thundercat logo on the chest. Is that just me, or is he about to say, "Eye of Thundera, give me sight beyond sight"? So, yeah, I feel like if he just had a Cobra symbol on him, then he could yell, "Cobra!" and he could be, "Thundercats! Thundercats! Thundercats! Ho!" And I don't know what that was, but thank you. Oh, that was the Eye of Thunder. Oh, well, see? You know, you should be hosting these things. You'd be really good. So, so let's go to the other camera and take a look. Of course, like I said earlier, his robot mode does look pretty much just like Wingspan's, and that is the point. Now, if you rotate him around, of course, he's got different kibble. He's got different things happening in his feet and different things happening in his back, but there are a lot of remolded parts. So a lot of this guy is direct remolds of Wingspan. You can see the arms, the shoulders, the chest, the head. Those are all remolded parts. And then you have some slight differences when you get to the parts that make up the transform. And these guys both are reasonably well articulated. You know, you can get him to run in a dramatic fashion. Yeah, look at that. He's doing the herky-jerky dance. That's the herky-jerky dancer. I'm sorry. I won't do that again. So the articulation is really good on these guys. And I will say that if you are fans of the original Gen 1 Decepticon clones, then these would be a great set to have, and they're not expensive because it's pretty much those characters done all over again, except better. So let's turn him into a cat or wolf or whatever the heck he is. We're going to start by folding in the arms. We're going to rotate the head. We're going to flip now it's a wolf head instead of a bird head. Now we can unfold the wolf legs, and that pretty much makes up the front of the wolf. And then we've got another pair of legs that fold out of the back of the feet. We can pull up this little butt plate, and then I think that these things rotate around. Is that what's going on here? So I think that's it. I guess I could have looked at the instructions. I could at least, you know what? I'm not going to sink to the level of looking at instructions, but what I am going to do is I'm going to look at the picture on the box. So let's put these guys side by side, and I'll get the box. And, you know, cats... So, Monica asks a good question. Aren't cats more for pouncing than dogs? I don't know. What do wolves do? Do wolves pounce? I think the wolves pounce. They sort of pounce. So yeah, this is the transform. I'm looking at the picture, and sure enough, that's it. You're just rotating those back legs around, and it doesn't really lock in at all. It's, it doesn't have any tabs in or anything. But the nice thing is that you have really nicely articulated back legs that can do a lot of different positions. You can get them in there. Let's go to the other camera so that you can really see this all proper like. I'm going to set this box down right here so that you can see this. So you can see that I can have him really prowl. And TM. Because of the transform, you can spread out the front legs as well. And there's a joint in the middle here also for the transform, which means that you can scrunch up the legs, and you've got the tail on 2 joints. So there's actually a lot of play value here in this wolf figure. A lot more than I anticipated, to be honest. He's pretty cool, and yeah, you've got robot arms that kind of stick out and don't really hide themselves well, and the wolf legs are not terribly convincing, but the form of the thing definitely conveys wolf, and because of the articulation, there's a lot you can do with him. His mouth does not open. Neither of their creature modes have opening mouths, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but not unexpected for such small figures that are obviously at kind of a lower price point. So on these guys, what I'm going to say is they're obviously not the premium gold stars of your collection. These aren't the ones that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I got the Decepticon clones. They're a little bit hollow. They're obviously not done to the nines the way that some of the more intricate figures on this line are. But I will say that Pounce here is a lot of fun. And I am probably going to end up doing a little bit of discreet shaving to this joint right here so that I can bend it back just a little bit further and get that into more positions than just this. But the fact that I can get him into all sorts of dramatic wolf-like poses is pretty cool. And this is something that actually, I wasn't going to do this, but can everybody just step away from their screens for just a moment? Just a moment, okay? I promise this won't take long. Hasbro, come here. We recently had a talk during the Predacons live stream about beast modes and articulation. And if you remember, the Predacons, the release of the Predaking set for, was that Power of the Primes? Yes, that was Power of the Primes. Those beast modes were kind of sad, and they were stiff and non-posable. When you do a Transformer with beast modes, the articulation of the alt mode is important. This guy doesn't strike me as super detailed or super expensive, but he's going to be a lot of fun to play with. And that matters. Even to adult collectors like moi, I still want to be able to play with these guys and to take cool pictures with them and things like that. And this is a case where, because this is not a high price point item, I can forgive the hollowness in the back of the arms. I don't love it, but I can forgive it because he's going to look great when he's crouched down and he wants to pounce on his prey. But this isn't his prey. This is his bird brother. So So everybody can come back. We can come back. So, you know, he, Kyoji's thinking of Manimal. I remember that show. All like 3 episodes of it or whatever it was. But I watched Manimal. That was a creepy, creepy show. The transformation sequence, granted, I was pretty young back then, but the transformation sequence from when he would turn into a bird and his face would get all black and stretched out, and it wasn't supposed to be horror television, but it was a little bit of horror television. So, that's the Decepticon clones reviewed, and the story with these guys. So you could get the pack with Wingspan and Cloudraker together in one pack, and then to get the other 2, you would have had to have gone onto BigBadToyStore.com and get this whole set that was really pricey and mostly made up of repaints in order to get the clone counterparts to Wingspan and Cloudraker. At that point, I'm not sure that I understand the point. I expected to see the other 2 clones on store shelves, and that didn't happen, and I sure wasn't going to pay out the nose for a large group of repaints from Big Bad Toy Store. So we never we just didn't see Pounce. He came out, he probably looked a lot more like this guy, but we wouldn't know because you can't go downtown and go to the Big Bad Toy Store section of Walgreens. So, that's Punch and Counter Punch or not Punch and Counter, Pounce and Wingspan, which I have decided are now named Pounce and Counter Pounce. So, oh yeah, in order to, it was $120 to get a repaint of Power Masters Prime, which I have to tell you, the redo of Power Master Prime was unimpressive. I'm sorry, we'll talk about that sometime. And then we had another guy that I don't recognize, and then you could also get Pounce and a purple jet guy who I don't recognize. Yeah. So there you go. I wasn't paying $120 to get an unimpressive Prime, 2 unremarkable repaints, and Pounce. Now I have Pounce and Counter Pounce. See, I'm calling him Counter Pounce because the Autobot spy was Punch and Counter Punch. See what I did there? So now it's Pounce and Counter Punch. I'm so sorry. I haven't really had enough sleep lately. So I'm going to set these guys aside and set aside their packaging. There we go. And there we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Autobot Battle Masters Fuzer and Blastmaster. They are the Astro Squad. Let's see. Yes, the Astro Squad, which to me, 2 figures does not a squad make. That's, you know, back in the 80s when you got Micromasters, you got 4 in a pack. That's a squad. Okay? This is a duo. And so we can see them in the packaging. It's a blister pack. There's really not a whole lot to say about it. We get the pictures of the characters and a crap ton of mumbo jumbo on the back in many, many languages. And because of that, we really don't feel bad about just kind of pulling this apart unceremoniously. And we've got the instructions right here. That's going to be really important. And then we've got this. So here, let's go to the other camera. So, yes, we've got our packaging. That's great. Thank you. And we've also got instructions, which that's how we feel about that. And so we have Autobot Fuzer and Autobot Blastmaster. I think this is Fuzer, and I think that this is Blastmaster. I threw away the box, so I don't know. Let's see. Oh, is Joy here? Hey, Joy, you're here! A toast to Joy for showing up on a Monday evening. That one's for you, Joy. Thank you for joining us. We were going to record the footage for this and make it a regular video, but I didn't want to take the time to edit it. So, we're doing it live. That's a trade secret. Shh. So, going back to Fuzer and Blastmaster, let's take out Fuzer. And he's a little guy, and he's got molded in guns. He cannot put down his guns. Let's just. I'm gonna refocus the camera here so that you can see the detail. The detail on him is nice. I will say that for him. He's got a lot of molded in detail. He's actually got good articulation. And he's got a leg there that can pop out. So here, we'll snap that back in. There we go. So we've got actually pretty good articulation. And Fuzer used to be called Phaser. And so, of course, like many Transformers characters over the years, maintaining the rights to some of these names has been difficult for Hasbro, and so he is now called Fuzer. But if you had the original Phaser and you want to keep calling him Phaser, then I will not fault you for that. So that is him. And you look at him from the side, he's got a little bit of back kibble and a little bit of behind the head kibble. He seems to have the nose of a space shuttle shoved into the back of his skull. But I have seen worse. I have certainly seen worse. And let's go ahead and transform him. He's going to turn into the front half of a space shuttle. And so we're going to pull that out, and then we're going to pivot it forward, and then we're going to take these arms, and they are on kind of a double hinge here, which, tiny, but you can see that it's working to get his shoulders to tuck in, and then we're going to fold the legs over, and actually we're going to spin the waist. So there's a lot of moves going on here for such a little guy. And there we go. And then we've got this back panel, and that turns into the front half of a space shuttle, which has to be really impractical. I didn't collect these guys in Gen 1. I remember that they came out, and I just was not into the idea of little robots that turned into half of something. But nonetheless, we've got him, and now let's take out Blastmaster, which almost sounds like a porn star name, but it is not. He is a good-natured Autobot. So. Apparently there was an NES game called Blastmaster. Blastermaster. Okay, so Mr. Fillion, you have to let us know if you ever played Blastermaster, because this guy is named Blastmaster, and that's the only similarity. Kyoji was just saying that the original Astro Squad actually had 6 Micromasters, which combined into 3 vehicles, because that's how the Micromaster Combiner Squads went back in 1990. Very good, Kyoji. now. Another toast to Kyoji. I can always count on you to know the stuff that I don't. So thank you. So you could, yes. So one of the gimmicks of the original squads, which Kyoji was just commenting on, is that part of the gimmick was that you could mix and match the vehicle bits. You could take any of the fronts and mix them with any of the backs to make Franken vehicles. And that's interesting. I'm not sure it was enough when I was a kid to make me want to collect them, but you could do it, and that's important. Oh, Joy beat Blaster Master. Very good. Okay, so a toast to Joy. So, yeah, Monica was just saying Blaster Master was hard. So I didn't have an NES growing up, and so now I suck at NES games. But that's not going to stop us from doing NES in the future. So just so that everybody knows, NES will happen in the future. We just haven't had a slot for it lately, but it's coming. It is coming. So let's go back to the other camera. We've got Blaster Master. Let's put him in. Let's turn him into the back half of a space shuttle. And you know what's nice is I do have another pair of these guys over on the shelf if we want to see if we can still mix and match fronts and backs. So we've got the back end of the space shuttle here. We've got a tail that'll come up. You already saw me pull the wings out, and then we're going to have to do something here. I think that these just rotate around like this. Yes, they just the legs just rotate around like that, and then they sort of peg in, and then we bring down the space shuttle wings. Maybe. Let's see. And the arms don't really do much. So they've got these little tabs right here, and the wings tab into the shoulders, and then there's, yeah, that's pretty much what's supposed to happen. I think that the bottom of the wrist tabs in to the hip right there. There we go. And then the wings come down. And so we've got the back half of a space shuttle right there. And then put them together and boom! You have a space shuttle. It's actually a really nice looking space shuttle. That is a nice looking space shuttle for such little guys. He's I would say that his size is on par with Gen 1 Blastoff, but his proportions are better. Or their proportions in this case, since it is two of them. And, you know, you've got this panel up here for the transform that you could pretend is like a cargo dock. So, yeah, his space shuttle mode is nice. It is sporting a NASA logo on the engine, which is also nice. Oh, you know what? We can flip his head up. There we go. So now he doesn't have a head sticking up. And that's nice. I don't like it when there are heads just kind of poking out. So we've got some nice thrusters here. I kind of wish that they had painted this circle here. Minor criticism, something that I could correct with a Sharpie. And it's hard to get the wings to absolutely line up with all the panels, but it's not bad. He's got molded in landing gear in the back, and what I'm guessing is supposed to be molded in landing gear here where this hinge is, and a couple tabs here and here. So yeah, he makes for a pretty decent space shuttle. And let's see now, these guys. Let me check the packaging here, because I thought that maybe these guys are supposed to turn into a weapon, or maybe that's a different line. I think that there is. Yeah, you know what? So we do have kind of a weapon mode here. And the weapon mode, to the best of my knowledge, is you pull out this little peg from under the nose cone and fold the wings up, and now a Transformer can hold this as a gun. Maybe we pull back the tail like that so that it becomes more of a sight than a tail. And I'd accept that as a gun. I don't like this, you know, holding it from way back here. But because of the size of Transformers' arms, they usually have the posts very far in the back so that the character can hold it like that. And unfortunately, it's too heavy for most of them. But there you have it. That is kind of a gun mode for him, which is important that they have a gun mode. And so let's go ahead and talk about these guys, and I forget their names. This is Direct Hit and Power Punch. Thank you. Direct Hit and Power Punch. And I'm just going to turn these into their vehicle mode. And we can find out if you can mix and match vehicle parts with these guys. So we're going to tuck in the legs and push the arms in if they want to go. There we go. And there we have this guy, just like that. I actually really like that vehicle. I don't even know what it is, but I really like it. It's a pretty cool little thing, and it's pretty tight. The molding is nice. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's a cool thing. And then we have this guy, and he has a pretty interesting transform. You flip these out of the feet. You're going to slightly move the shoulders in, just like that. And then we're going to rotate these around. And what I like about these guys is that even though they are supposed to go together somehow, let's see, somehow like that. Am I oh, here, this thing goes like that. Okay, so even though they go together like this, they each have 4 wheels, and so this can be its own thing. I don't know what own thing it is, but it can be its own thing, and this definitely looks like its own thing, but you can put them together like that. So let's find out, is it possible to mix and match? Put these guys, I don't think so. I do not think so. We have the front end of the space shuttle and the back end of this, and no, that is a negative. We cannot do it. Yeah, does not work. Oh, that is a shame. We can kind of push these guys together, and they're just not doing it. So we do not have the mix and match capability of, at least not across the line, the way that we may have had way back in the day. So but we do get a pretty cool space shuttle, and then even with this guy, you get 2 pretty cool vehicles that can become 1 pretty cool vehicle. So that is Fuzer and Blastmaster, and they make for a pretty decent little space shuttle. I'm digging this. And so that is it. That is our Decepticon clones unboxed and laid bare in front of the critical eye of Retrobot, and the Autobot Astro Squad, which is actually just, 2 guys, not much of a squad. I will say that the price point isn't overly high, and they are play worthy. They are certainly playworthy, and so if you see them and you're interested, then they aren't bad things to add to your collection. So, what were your favorite Micromaster combination squads? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know also if you had the original Autobot clones or the Decepticon clones and what you thought of them, and if you're thinking of picking these up. If you like this video, please, please, please subscribe, click the notification bell, tell your friends, tell your family, make fraudulent accounts for babies that don't even watch YouTube yet. Well, okay, don't tell YouTube that I told you to say that. And of course, click the thumbs up if you like this video. Click the thumbs down if you hate my shirt. But how could you hate my shirt? It's got sharks on it. Other than that, have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of your week. This is Retrobot saying good night.